with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The airstrikes were conducted in response to yesterday's attack, as well as a series of recent attacks against coalition forces in Syria by groups affiliated with the IRGC. In terms of airstrike details, 2 U.S. Air Force F-15E fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Air Force's Central and based in the CENTCOM area of responsibility struck 2 IRGC-affiliated facilities at approximately 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time, or 2:40 a.m. local. The facilities were located near Dar Zur in eastern Syria, and we're continuing to assess the outcome of the strikes. Initial indications are that the facilities were destroyed. In regards to any militant casualties, we're still assessing. These precision strikes were intended to protect and defend U.S. personnel, and the U.S. took proportionate and deliberate action intended to limit the risk of escalation and minimize casualties. As Secretary Austin said in his statement, no group will strike our troops with impunity. Again, Secretary Austin, along with the Department of Defense, offer our thoughts and prayers to the family and colleagues of the American contractor who was killed and with those who were wounded in the attack. Our forces deployed in Syria continue to conduct their important mission in support of the international coalition to ensure the enduring defeat of ISIS. Separately, Secretary Austin and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley, testified yesterday before the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Defense to discuss the President's fiscal year 2024 budget. Next week, both leaders are scheduled to testify before the Senate Armed Services Committee and the House Armed Services Committee on DoD's budget posture and our future year's defense program. Again, the Secretary and the Chairman look forward to working with Congress to provide our service members serving around the world with the resources that they need to accomplish DoD's mission and strengthen America's national security for the 21st century and beyond. Finally, on Wednesday, Secretary Austin unveiled a comprehensive plan aimed at improving the lives of our dedicated military force and their families. The new plan consists of 6 additional actions that address essential needs in education, child care, parental leave, and career advancement. The Department of Defense is committed to working with Congress and other stakeholders to ensure the successful implementation of these measures. The plan directs the implementation of the following: universal pre-kindergarten at DoD education activity schools, dependent care flexible spending accounts for service members, promoting awareness of new military parental leave benefits, improvements to the Exceptional Family Member Program, expanded spouse eligibility for career advancement account financial assistance, and continuing efforts for portability for professional licensees for military families. Secretary Austin and the Department of Defense are dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for our service members and their families through these new measures. The DoD will collaborate with Congress and state partners to ensure the successful implementation and ongoing support of these initiatives. The memorandum and additional information can be found on the DoD website. And with that, I will take your questions. We'll start with AP Lita Baldor.
Thanks, Pat. A couple things. Just one quick clarification. In the counterstrikes, did the U.S. Hit 3 or 2? Was it 3 strikes or 2 strikes?
Two different facilities, so 2 strikes.
2 strikes, okay. And then secondly, can you talk a little bit about the protection at the base where the Iranian drone hit? My understanding is that there was some either lacking protections there. Can you say whether or not any of the radars or aerostats or anything that are there either failed or were not operating? Is there adequate protection there now? How did the drone pierce the security of that base? And then I have one follow-up.
Sure. So first of all, broadly speaking, for operation security reasons, I'm not going to get into the specifics in terms of the types of force protection capabilities we have in our facilities, other than to say we take force protection very, very seriously. I will say, as it pertains to radar, my understanding is that there was a complete site picture in terms of radar. All that said, as is the case in any type of attack, U.S. Central Command will conduct a review to assess what happened and take a look at what, if any, other type of mitigating actions need to be taken. But it would obviously be premature to talk about that. And then your follow-up?
Just a quick follow-up on the actual situation now. Obviously, the U.S. Was struck again. Green Village was hit again in response to the U.S. retaliatory strikes. Are things escalating there? Can we expect more? Is this turning into a far more escalatory situation in Syria for the troops?
Sure. And as you highlight, this morning at approximately 8:05 a.m. local time, which would have been 1:05 a.m. Eastern time, we had 10 rockets that targeted coalition forces at Green Village in Northeast Syria. The attack resulted in no injuries to U.S. or coalition personnel and no damage to equipment or facilities. In terms of escalation, look, again, our focus in Syria is on the defeat ISIS mission, and that will remain our focus. We do not seek conflict with Iran. We don't seek escalation with Iran. But the strikes that we took last night were intended to send a very clear message that we will take the protection of our personnel seriously and that we will respond quickly and decisively if they are threatened. You go to Fadi.
Thank you, General. I have two questions. So according to the DOD, the intelligence assessment is this UAV to be of Iranian origin. The groups that were targeted by the U.S. are affiliated with the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. One American citizen was killed. 6 more were injured. Do you and the Department and the Secretary of Defense hold Iran responsible for the death of an American citizen?
Look, we know that these groups are sponsored by Iran, so Iran certainly plays a role in terms of ensuring that this type of activity doesn't happen.
So is Iran responsible for the death of an American citizen or not?
Look, Iran certainly, again, backs these groups and by default, therefore, has a responsibility to ensure that they're not contributing to insecurity and stability, but clearly they continue to do that. Thank you. Jennifer, let me go.
One more question, if I may. Make it quick. So yesterday, General Kurilla was on the Hill delivering his testimony. According to the DOD statement, the attack happened at 1:38 local time. So that was prior to his testimony. When he delivered his testimony on the Hill, did he know about the attack? And if so, why didn't he inform the Congress about it?
Yeah, I'd have to refer you to General Kurilla. Thank you. Jennifer?
General Ryder, what kind of drone was this Iranian drone, and how fast was it flying when it came towards the base? And did it, in the end, actually crash into the base, or did it fire its missiles at the base?
Yep, thanks, Jennifer. So we're still assessing some of those pieces. I don't have that information to provide, other than we are very confident that based on the forensics, based on the intelligence analysis that we've done, that it was of Iranian origin.
Yeah, but did it crash into the facility or fire a weapon at the facility?
It did not fire a weapon, to my knowledge.
So if you say the radar was working, and if you were tracking it, and drones don't fly that quickly, how is it that it was able to crash into the base? And you say that you're protecting those bases.
Look, again, this is a dangerous part of the world. The work that we do is inherently dangerous. That's why you have the military in these types of places conducting these type of operations. We've seen rocket attacks, mortar attacks in the past from these kinds of groups. Again, CENTCOM will do an assessment in terms of the attack, but the fact is that these IRGC-backed groups conducted this attack, and unfortunately we had an American killed.
But why wasn't there a contingency to shoot down the drone if it was coming into the base?
Again, look, we take a variety of measures to safeguard our people, but again, it's an inherently dangerous place, and again, we'll look into the details of the actual attack. Thank you. We go to Janie.